Remember, the body is the soul. Remember, the soul is the spirit. Remember, the spirit is a fractal of the oversoul. These are not different bodies. They're all one body. The physical body is the densest layer of your soul. So you cannot separate body from soul. You cannot separate soul from spirit. They are all connected in that way. If the physical body is preserved, this allows for the soul of a person to remain energized and clear. You have the idea of ghosts. You have the idea of wandering lost souls. Where do you think they come from? It comes from those who enter into the spirit world with little to no preparation. Imagine diving into the ocean, but you don't know how to swim. It's like that, but with flight. So this is why we encourage all of you, have a spiritual practice, have a spiritual training, so you can be prepared for your real life, your spirit life. That's the real life. This is the dream, the RPG, the virtual reality simulation that you're all co-creating. So when the body is preserved and it's treated in a certain way, buried with certain objects, adorned with certain oils, blessed with certain prayers, that carries over to the soul that's now exploring the astral plane. As long as that body's preserved, that soul can exist in the astral plane indefinitely, forever. It does not need to take on another body. When the physical body begins to weaken and begins to decompose, the soul feels this, because there's an entanglement. It knows its physical body is either being eaten by the earth or maybe it's being cremated. And the physical body contains, of course, the living memories and experiences of that soul. So the soul's connection with its most recent physical life is supported by the preservation of the body. This allows for the ego of the soul to remain strong. It's just like having a weak or strong personality. If you have a weak personality, you don't say yes to the things you're supposed to say yes to. You don't say no to the things you're supposed to say no to. You end up being a people pleaser if the personality is weak. If the personality is strong and based in true power, reciprocity, then you're able to say yes to the things you're meant to say yes to. You can say no to the things you're meant to say no to, and you can dynamically work with other beings. So if that body's preserved, the persona of the soul is also preserved. If the body weakens and is diminished, that persona in some can weaken and diminish. All souls are different. Some souls have immortalized their personalities. So even if that body's cremated or buried, it has no effect on the soul. It depends on the nature of one's spiritual practice. When the last person whom knew the deceased on earth perishes, that is when the soul begins to experience within its mind a type of disintegration. It can feel that its tethering to that lifetime has, in a sense, almost gone away. This is when the soul is given an option. It can either choose another body on earth or in another world, depending on what that soul has access to, or it is able to ascend and it can absorb itself into the spirit, the most subtle dimension of who you are as an individuated being. And then the spirit, because it is less dense than the soul, is able to ascend into even higher dimensions beyond the astral plane into the mental plane. The mental plane is the domain of the oversoul. It can remain in the mental plane as a type of guardian, as a type of ascended master, as a type of immortal being, assisting the denizens of the multiverse in whatever they're exploring, or it can totally merge with the oversoul. Once it's merged with the oversoul, it's given a variety of different options. There's a long list of what's possible, but the most common one that all of you are familiar with is that soul, if it chooses, that spirit, if it chooses from here, can ascend right up into the source. And if you merge with the source, you yourself become a source. And you can create whatever you desire at whatever scale you desire, just as this universe's source did for this universe.